It was 3:17 a.m. when I realized the reflection behind me wasn't copying my movements. I wish I could say I screamed. I didn't. I just stared at it, and it stared back. I live alone in a one-bedroom apartment outside Columbus, Ohio. Nothing special. Second floor, thin walls, the kind of place where you can hear your neighbors sneeze. I work remote IT support, so I'm up late most nights. That night was no different. Coffee mug, headphones, the glow of my monitor lighting the room in a pale blue wash. Behind my desk is a hallway mirror. I've had it for years, never thought about it. Until that night. I stood up around 3:15 a.m. to stretch. My back was tight. I rolled my shoulders and cracked my neck. And that's when I noticed something felt off. Not wrong, just delayed. When I leaned left, my reflection leaned left too, but slower, by maybe half a second. At first I thought I was tired, so I tested it. I raised my right hand quickly. The reflection followed, but again, just slightly late, like bad internet lag. My stomach dropped. I told myself it was my eyes, the lighting, fatigue. So I stepped closer. The mirror showed exactly what it should. Messy hair, dark circles, gray hoodie. Except its expression was different. I wasn't smiling, but it was. Not wide, just barely. A subtle curl in the corner of its mouth. I froze, and slowly, carefully, I touched my own face. The reflection didn't. It just watched, smiling. I stumbled backward, knocking my chair over. The reflection didn't stumble. It stayed standing, still smiling, still looking directly at me, not at my reflection, at me, from inside the mirror. The overhead light flickered, just once. When it stabilized, the reflection was normal again, perfectly synced, neutral expression, exactly matching me. I didn't sleep that night. The next day, I convinced myself it was stress. I'd been working overtime, skipping meals, drinking too much caffeine. Visual hallucinations happen, right? So I covered the mirror with a bedsheet. Problem solved. Or so I thought. 3 nights later, I woke up at 3:17 a.m. again, exactly 3:17. My phone was face down on the nightstand, but I knew the time before I checked it. I felt watched. That heavy, suffocating awareness that someone is standing too close. The bedroom was dark, but the hallway light was on. I never leave it on. And the mirror, the sheet was gone, folded neatly on the floor. I didn't move, didn't breathe. From my bed, I could see the mirror at an angle, and I could see myself lying there. But I was facing the wall. The reflection wasn't. It was facing forward, looking straight toward my bedroom door, like it was waiting for something to come in. I whispered, "Stop." The reflection's eyes slowly shifted and locked onto mine, even though my real eyes were facing the wall. My heart started pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. The reflection began to sit up. I did not. It swung its legs off the bed. I did not. It stood. I was still lying down, paralyzed. It stepped closer to the mirror's surface and placed its palm against the inside of the glass. The sound came next, a faint tapping, from the hallway, not from the mirror, from outside my bedroom. Tap, 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 like nicked fingernails against drywall. The reflection smiled again, wider this time. Then it leaned forward, and the mirror went black. Not shattered, not cracked, just black, like a turned-off screen. The overhead light shut off. Total darkness. Silence. I must have passed out, because when I woke up, it was 9:42 a.m. Sunlight through the blinds. Mirror completely normal. Sheet still folded neatly on the floor. No cracks, no damage. I called in sick to work, packed a bag, and stayed at my sister's house for a week. When I finally came back, I decided to remove the mirror entirely. I didn't want to risk anything. So I unscrewed it from the wall. That's when I saw it. Behind where the mirror had been mounted, there was writing carved into the drywall. Not old, not faded, fresh, deep enough to expose the gypsum. 4 words, in shaky, uneven letters, "Let me out at 3:17. I never carved that. I live alone. No one else has a key. I left the mirror in the dumpster behind my building. I watched the garbage truck crush it, watched the glass shatter, felt relief for the first time in days. That was 2 months ago. I've been sleeping better. No more waking at 3:17, no more reflections lagging, no more smiles. But here's the problem. Last night, I was brushing my teeth, and I noticed something in the bathroom mirror. Small, subtle, easy to miss. When I blink, my reflection doesn't blink at the same time anymore. It waits, just a fraction too long, like it's practicing, learning, timing it better. And every night, the delay gets shorter. I haven't checked what time it is when it happens. I don't want to know. But I'm scared one night it's going to be perfectly synced. And when that happens, I don't think I'll be the one standing outside the glass. I don't think I'll be the one standing outside the glass. That thought wouldn't leave me. It followed me into work, into the shower, into sleep. The delay kept shrinking. At first, it was half a second, then a blink, then barely noticeable, until one night, it matched me perfectly. No delay, no smile, just normal. And somehow that terrified me more, because it meant one thing: it had learned. I decided to test it. If something was inside the mirror, it had rules. Everything has rules. So at 3:10 a.m., I stood in front of my bathroom mirror and waited. The apartment was silent. No TV, no fan, no music, just the low hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. At 3:16, the air changed. It felt heavier, like pressure building before a storm. My ears popped slightly. I stared at my reflection. It stared back. Perfect sync. 3:17 a.m. Nothing happened. I let out a nervous breath. Maybe it was over. Maybe whatever had been there needed the physical mirror from the hallway. Maybe destroying it had trapped it permanently. I almost laughed. And then, the reflection blinked. I didn't. My eyes were still open, burning, dry, unblinking. But in the mirror, my eyes had closed, slowly, deliberately. When they opened again, they weren't my eyes. They were darker, not black, just deeper, like there was more space inside them than there should be. My reflection tilted its head. I didn't. And then it spoke. Its lips moved. Mine didn't. You left me in the dark. The voice didn't come from the mirror. It came from behind me, right at my ear. I felt breath. Cold. I spun around. Nothing. Empty bathroom. Shower curtain still. Door closed. When I looked back, the reflection was gone. The mirror showed the bathroom, the sink, the open doorway behind me, but I wasn't there. I stepped left. No reflection. Right. Nothing. The mirror wasn't reflecting me at all. It was showing the room without me in it. Panic hit so hard my knees buckled. I waved my arms, jumped, moved closer. Still nothing. Then I felt it. That same heavy awareness from weeks ago. Only now, it wasn't coming from the mirror. It was coming from the hallway. Tap, tap, tap. Fingernails against drywall, moving closer. Tap, tap, tap. Right outside the bathroom door. I couldn't breathe. The mirror flickered, and suddenly, I was back in it, standing there. But I wasn't alone. Behind my reflection, something was standing in the hallway. Tall, wrong proportions. Its arms hung too long. its head slightly tilted just like mine used to be, and it was close, too close. My reflection smiled. I didn't, and it stepped sideways, out of the mirror's center, revealing the thing fully behind it. It didn't have a face, not really, just a stretched surface where one should be, like skin pulled tight over nothing. And then I felt fingers wrap around my ankle from outside the bathroom in the real hallway, ice cold, unmistakable. I screamed and kicked backward. The grip tightened. In the mirror, I watched myself being dragged out of frame, pulled into the hallway. But in reality, I hadn't moved. I was still standing at the sink, alone. The bathroom silent again. No tapping, no fingers, just my reflection. Normal, breathing hard, sweating, terrified. I looked down at my ankle. 5 red marks, like finger impressions, already darkening. I didn't sleep. I didn't test it again. I covered every mirror in the apartment, bathroom, closet, even the microwave door. But reflections aren't limited to mirrors. I learned that the hard way. 2 nights later, I was working at my desk, laptop screen blank between tasks, and for a split second, I saw someone sitting behind me, not in a mirror, in the reflection of my dark monitor, perfectly clear, watching me. When I turned, no one. When I looked back, my reflection was still there, but it was slightly closer to the screen than I was, leaning forward, studying me. That's when I understood. Breaking the mirror didn't trap it. It freed it. It didn't need the glass anymore. It just needed me. I've started noticing small things. Objects slightly moved. Doors cracked open when I remembered shutting them. My phone camera occasionally opens itself, front-facing. And when it does, for half a second, I see 2 of me in the frame, one perfectly centered, and the other standing just behind my shoulder, out of focus, but getting clearer each time. Last night, it happened again at 3:17, only this time, there was no delay, no wrong blinking, no movement mismatch. Everything was perfect, too perfect. I smiled. It smiled. At the same time, I lifted my hand. It lifted its hand. Exact sync. And then it whispered, but my lips never moved. We're ready. We. Not I. We. And that's when I realized something worse than being replaced. It doesn't want to take my place. It wants to share it. Because today at work, 3 people asked me if I was feeling okay. They said I'd been staring at my screen for long stretches, completely still, not blinking, not responding, for exactly 1 minute, every time at 3:17 p.m. I don't remember those minutes, but apparently I was smiling. And tonight, when I stood in front of the mirror, there was no delay at all, no wrong movements, no distortion, just me, perfectly normal, perfectly synced. And somehow, I'm not sure which one of us is writing this.